Hello guys, and Belgorod is still one of the hottest war zones inside Russia after a successful Ukrainian drone operation with Belgorod Dam. A group of Russian invaders that wanted to reach deeper into Kharkiv region are now cut off from the rest of their units. Don't worry, no problems for the civilian population in Russia, but serious problems for the logistics and any movement of the Russian troops on the Ukrainian territories. But come on, what are they doing here? Putin is in total panic mode, and you can easily tell it when he starts speaking about new old Russian missiles, this time Burevestnik. But it did not impress anyone, and I wonder how these Oreshniks and Burevestniks can protect Russian oil refineries that keep burning. Another one neutralized very close to the capital of the Russian Federation in Serpukhovo. And there are more and more rumors that people around Putin are very dissatisfied with his constant failures, that they do not believe all the problems inside Russia are caused by the evil West, and start thinking evil about Putin. So maybe a coup is coming? Let's discuss all of that in the video. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see Putin in The Hague or coup against Putin, subscribe. I'm sure we will discuss that on the channel sometime really soon. And let's begin with the Belgorod special military operation. You know, this region is a war zone inside Russia. Now there are way more of them: Kursk, Bryansk, Rostov, Voronezh, Kaluga, and even distant regions like Tatarstan, like Bashkortostan, Dagestan. But now we are concentrating on the front lines, and they are both in Ukraine and in Russia. That is a great and very important change of the recent years. And after a successful Ukrainian drone operation, a dam of Belgorod reservoir was damaged, and the level of water dropped approximately 1 meter. And here I have to tell you, don't worry, this dam is not close to any villages or cities. No one was hurt apart from the Russian soldiers that started traveling in the direction of Vovchansk, that is a Ukrainian city in Kharkiv region, but now are stuck because by these wetlands they are now cut off from the supplies and logistics on the Russian side, and I'm sure soon will need to surrender. This is a great and beautiful plan that actually brings more waters to Ukrainian Siversky Donets, and I personally consider all artificial dams, these reservoirs, to be very evil. These are the creations of the Soviet Union, and after the tragedy of Kakhovka Dam, you have to know that in Ukraine we don't plan to restore it because that was a Soviet interference in the nature, and now it was very bad experience, but everybody plans to leave it as it is, returning Ukrainian nature back to normal. So around Belgorod, these soldiers now are trapped, and the changes in the water level and in how wet the territories around are definitely make their movement and logistics impossible. Plus, it's autumn, leaves are falling, so they are super vulnerable. Once again, every Russian soldier has a choice. They can return back home to Russia and do the job, especially when it's so much work inside Russia. And we clearly see that Putin, Gerasimov, and Kor are in the panic mode, because every time they have problems, every time they see that the Russian lies are not working, they start threatening with Oreshniks or Burevestniks. These are old Soviet missiles that they keep rebranding and keep talking about whenever Putin has problems, this time with the US sanctions. And recently they had this very performative conversation between Putin and Gerasimov talking about the tests of Burevestnik. According to these Kremlin goblins, it managed to travel 14,000 kilometers, spend 15 hours in the air, and has an unlimited range. But Here in Ukraine, no one is afraid of Putin. There are a lot of emotions that we feel towards him, and I cannot share them on YouTube, but fear is definitely not the one. And what I sense right now is that fewer and fewer people around the world still fear Putin. They understand that he is a pathetic loser that had totally different understanding of his own powers, his own budget, and the strength of the Russian army. And now it was all exposed. So no matter how much he speaks about Oreshniks or Burevestniks, this will not change the attitudes and the plans, neither of the Ukrainian armed forces nor of our allies. Subscribe to witness the collapse of the Putin regime, because even newspapers outside Russia keep talking about the potential mutiny or a coup. But before we continue talking on this beautiful subject, I would like to repeat one question that I actually loved in the comments below this information on the tests of the Burevestnik's unlimited missiles capable of carrying nuclear weapons. But come on, first of all, Putin is afraid of everything. He keeps hiding in bunkers from everyone and everything, and he knows that he cannot use nuclear weapons because this will simply lead to the end of his regime very quickly. And second, the state of the Russian weapons is very, very pathetic, and the maintenance of very important missiles that they keep threatening us with was conducted by the Ukrainian specialists back in Soviet times and even after the collapse of the Soviet regime. But I have this beautiful question that I want to repeat here. How tests of Burevestnik or tests of Oreshnik can save Putin from his burning oil refineries? There is no way. They were not prepared to fight on the Russian side, and with each day more and more of their regions are involved into the special military operation of the Ukrainian forces. And one more oil refinery destroyed today in Serpukhovo, that is very near Moscow, combined with the total destruction of Ryazan oil refinery that led to the suspended operations on it, can actually bring gasoline crisis right in the heart of the evil empire, explaining to the population that you are losing and you better choose. Do you want to continue these failures or maybe change your dictator, because this one is already broken? So there are a lot of rumors that more and more people around Putin are very dissatisfied with what is happening and how Putin keeps losing each of his, ambitions. And together with these failures, he actually destroys the Russian Federation from inside. By the way, on my new channel, Anna Danilchuk, there is the fresh video about some of Putin's ideologies, some of best known Russia's imperialists that are now begging the Kremlin to stop this war. And if you want to know what's actually happening in this closest circle, do check the video. And even the British press is now talking about this potential coup. Don't think it's totally impossible. Back in 2023, when Prigozhin, together with his Wagner group, started marching in the direction of Moscow, nobody tried to stop him. I am not sure you fixed that in your memory, but this tells us all about Russia. Not only they are toxically apolitical, very, passive towards their own fate, but they do not react to anything. When Prigozhin was marching to the Kremlin, no one tried to stop him. No soldiers, no governors. He was able to move region by region. It's just his personal fear or something else that prevented him from finishing this job. Do you think any coup is real? And let me know in the comments below, how do you see this end of Putin's regime? But remember to be polite, choosing your YouTube-friendly language. But this seems very real, because With each day, we see that even those who try to demonstrate some respect to Putin, it was very difficult to watch coming from the White House, for example, or coming from China traditionally, now start negotiating without Putin. Because, come on, they sense his weakness, and that's the world of predators. The world of authoritarian leaders is always the world of predators. We don't want it to expand. That's why we protect our life, our democracy, our respect to each other. And that's why I love our community so much, because it is literally the example of friendship, understanding, and this desire to support each other, even if we are across oceans, because it's not just one ocean that separates us or unites us, if we look at it in a proper way. Today we changed our clocks. We have this tradition here in Ukraine, changing your time to winter time, summertime. Do you have something similar in your countries? That's interesting, because it's really dark here and cold here during this next months, but I kind of love the tradition when you add one more hour of sleep. Let me know, do you have something similar in your countries? And thank you so much for your support, for buying me coffees in this season. I drink a lot. Thank you for becoming sponsors and patrons of the channels and helping them grow. That's an honor and a blessing. Follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord, all the links in the description of this video, same as the link to our merch shop that has a really good choice of different sweatshirts and hoodies, good for autumn weather, Halloween celebration, but mainly they work as the reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And thank you so much for being friends of mine, friends of Ukraine. United we stand. Slava Ukraini!